Yo, Original Lone Wolf coming at you again with a little video here I want you guys to pay attention to. This video is about 28 minutes long. I don't want to play the whole thing because me trying to break down a 28-minute video will turn into 2 hours. Y'all, for the people on my original channel, y'all know how I get down in terms of trying to break down these some of these shows, right? This shit came out back in 1968, right? And this is for some of the older folks that's out here, people that's 10, 12, 15 years older than me. I want to hear y'all take on this or share this with somebody that y'all know that's 10, 15 years older than me. You know what I'm saying? Because I like to know what people have to say about this. But in a nutshell, man, without further ado, this is basically a TV show called The Newsbenders. And they was talking about back then on this particular episode or whatever that I'm about to play now about how the news was all fake and contrived back then. Donald Pleasant is in here. He's one of the people I do recognize. The other guy, I don't really recognize him. But Donald Pleasant is an old school actor. He also played Michael Myers' psychiatrist in the original Halloween. The original one they did back in the late 70s, okay? He's in here. But I want you guys to check this shit out. And I'll be pausing it along the way. I'm going to see how long, the video go on or whatever before I make a decision to end it or to cut it off or, whatever as I'm doing this breakdown. But I want y'all to check this shit out. Listen to this shit.
Over here at 3. It's after 10 past. He is in, isn't he? One of the big boys wants to see. He always pulls the same trick. Sends for you at 3 and sees you at 3:15.
Mr. Larkin to see you, J.G.
Sorry for the captain. Sit down, Mr. Larkin.
Thank you.
You smoke these things?
King of Kings, sirs.
Yes. Very surprised we got you to come here, Mr. Larkin.
Well, I couldn't see what the CWNS would want with me. Still can't.
Know anything about it?
So in a nutshell, what this is showing you is allegedly how they recruit people into their bullshit to help keep these fake narratives going, right? Because again, like I told y'all, these type of videos right here that y'all seeing me do here, this is just to make you guys aware. What decisions you feel you need to make, if any at all, that is going to be completely left up to you. My whole thing is that I'm just trying to drive this point home as to how they were telling you that the shit on the news and the shit that be on TV is fake as hell back in the 60s.
Oh, I heard one or two things when I was working with the BBC.
What'd you hear?
CWNS set up midway between the government and the TV companies. Anytime the newsreel boys put out stuff with security classification, wars, weapons, political leaks, they get their film through this office.
What do we know about you? Larkin. Robert Santor.
Yes, it's a family name.
Good family. Good education. But you turned your back on all that, didn't you? Tried a little bit of everything. 1955, you wrote some plays for the BBC, then worked for them as a story editor. 1961, you got a 3-year contract as a director.
And that go to show you, excuse me, that go to show you the BBC been around a long time. I didn't know that. I had no idea that.
Which you didn't renew.
Well, the BBC won't pay money.
Well, you're in the money now, aren't you? In 1968. There's your flat in Holland.
And Donald Pleasant look weird as fucking here. Look at this motherfucker. He's super duper young as shit, but he looks strange than a motherfucker.
Park, a cottage in Hampshire, 2 children.
And a dog and a cat who commute with us to the country at weekends. Well, maybe you knew that already.
6 years ago, there were those shows you did on alcoholism, blood sports, slum clearance. People called you bright. Very bright. There were other words they used.
Hard-hitting, vital.
Now you do only 4 shows a year. critics call them brilliant. They're high in the ratings, and they're souffles. Little soft in the center. Don't think I'm complaining.
Oh, you can complain if you want to.
Just call it a friendly professional interest. I'd like to know what happened to alcoholism and blood sports.
Call it reaching the age of 35. Call it school fees to fixed addresses. Call it joining the establishment. Call it being a socialist for 15 years in a country that'll never be socialist.
Good. There's your wife, Rachel. You married the girl next door. Your 2 children, Rebecca.
Now, that portfolio thing that you all are looking at, that's this guy's entire life history. Quite naturally, I need not have to tell y'all that Donald Pleasant worked for some fucking government CIA spook type fucking agency. I need not have to tell y'all that. Y'all probably figured that part out already. But that damn scrapbook he looking in, that's a scrapbook of this guy's life. He knows everything about this fucking guy.
And Daniel, nice little family. 3 years ago, you got yourself a girlfriend. It was serious.
Where the hell did you get that, Founder? Just tell me where it stops.
Lasted for 18 months. Your wife never knew about it, even when you nearly decided to leave her.
Who are you? It's the initials JG, that's all I know. Never met you before in all my life.
July the 25th, 1966. You finally decided to break it off with this woman. You said you loved her. You said you loved your children. It was 2 against 1. You had to add it up like that. Sorry, your cigar is burning my desk.
Sheila told you all this?
We have ways of finding things out.
But why? If it's blackmail, the thing won't hold water. It's all in the past. Well, there'd be pain, of course, for Rachel and the children. But you wouldn't get anything else out of it.
No, it isn't blackmail. We've just been interested in you for a long time.
Interested?
You went back to your wife because you said it was 2 against 1. I call that very responsible. We're interested in very responsible people. In fact, we have a little index for them. We call it their power quotient, a ratio of...
Now, whether or not if the whole blackmailing thing regarding how they suck people into this is true or not, I don't know. I've been researching the Masonic Order for quite some time. I've heard about tons of different rituals and stuff that these people have to do, you know, like lying in coffins naked and all this other shit and masturbating and fucking Kool-Aid and peanut butter mixed together and, you know, all kind of weird shit, right? So I don't know whether or not if there's some validity to this or not. I've heard it. I reckon at some point the blackmail may come into place once people wake up and they realize what's going on and they attempt to try to back out of it. I don't know. But this shit is some very interesting shit.
Of responsibility as against aggression. Yours is very low. 0.2. That's very low. Just what we need. Sit down. Please. I'm sorry, the language must seem rather strange at first, but we take it very seriously. Just to show you how seriously, I'm going to tell you how we checked up on you. We call these things surgical transmitters. One was fitted inside you when you went into the Charing Cross Hospital 3 years ago. Appendix, wasn't it?
Transmitter? Are you trying to tell me that you listen to every word I say?
A machine does. Untouched by human hand.
You hear that shit? Now, this is back in 1968. Now, keep in mind, I was born 9 years later, right? So I cannot confirm or deny this shit on whether or not the validity of it or the realism. It seems real, right? Because of that whole thing you hear them saying there's nothing new under the sun and et cetera, et cetera. I just stumbled across this maybe last year for the first time. And I showed it to my mom who was born 14 years prior. And she was like, she don't know anything about it. She don't remember this. So, you know, again, I don't know, man. I really don't know. But what I can tell you is that this shit is very interesting. So you talking about planting microchips and shit and tracking devices in people back in the 60s? Wow. So that would confirm some of the arguments that people have out here, like Jim Redwood, when he say, man, all this technology is old as fuck. You know what I'm saying? I think he was the first person I heard say they had the camera way before they told you they had the camera. Way before they say the camera was invented, the camera had been out. So this kind of ties into that. Because again, you know me, y'all. Y'all know I'm a connect the dot type dude, right? So it's like that's just another dot for me to connect to what other people that try to put out and, you know, that they talk about on their other channel. You feel me? You got fucking tracking devices back in the 60s, and this is how y'all know everything about this fucking guy? And then you say it's not a person that's sitting down listening to every fucking thing you say, but a fucking machine that's doing it. Wow, this is 1968. Huh.
There's a little gadget in these things that ties up with the pulse rate. Puts a bleep onto anything that you're excited about saying. British.
And see, that's what those smartwatches and shit is for. Right now, I got a Galaxy. What is this? This is a Galaxy S10 Plus. They got some sort of fucking thing that's across the front facing camera that you can stick your finger on, and it's supposed to take your pulse. Right? So what I'm saying is a person can't just blow this off as being completely arbitrary, man. I don't believe it. Straight up.
Power quotient, surgical transmitters, high-speed tape. It's Doctor Who. I'm for the real world, Jack. Good afternoon.
I should just have to give you an example. On July the 26th, 1966, you were talking to this girl, Sheila, about love. You said to her, I quote, "The kind of love I have for you, Sheila, well, it's bed love and it's more. It's staying in bed till 6 p.m. and saying I can't go to the office today. It's eating breakfast at twilight, laughing at leaves on the pavement."
I don't believe there's any such thing as these surgical transmitters. You got Sheila to tell you all this, then you wrote it down the way I might have said it. You're a good guesser.
Can you hear your heart beating?
It's eating breakfast at twilight, laughing at leaves on the pavement, getting a cab to a silly movie to Paris. It's moving when you're tired of staying still. And I've done it all before when I could do it with no ties. Now to just be irresponsible. So there really is one of those things inside me.
Wow.
What do you want?
We want people with low power quotients. We want them to work for us. Nothing more sinister than that.
All this just to offer me a job.
Special sort of job. The newspapers talk about the corridors of power, the power elite. Let's just say we'd like you to join the club.
Oh.
There's a vacancy.
There go that word elite. Interesting. Interesting, man, how everything that we don't do away with tends to repeat itself. That's pretty fucking interesting, man. And our parents slept this. Our parents, you can forget about it. Like I say, my mama was born in 1954. Okay. My father was born 7 years earlier. You dig? They completely missed this shit. See, this is what the 70s did for you. You know, the 60s started the Vietnam War and shit. Right? And then the civil rights movement and all that other shit. The fucking Vietnam War didn't end until the mid 70s. You know what I'm saying? But by that time, so many of the brothers came back drug addicts and shit that they could just slide the drugs right on into Studio 54 and the disco era and all that shit through the 70s. Right? Wow, man. This some heavy shit, man.
Vacancy in our newsreel department. We'd like you to help plan the news for 1973.
Come again?
That nigga say we would like for you to help us plan the news for 1973. It's like, excuse me? Now check this shit out. I want you guys to pay close attention, man. If you can't watch this whole video, You know what I'm saying? Go on and do whatever you got to do. Be with your kids, be with your husband or your wife, whatever it is you got going on. But just make it your business, man, to spin back down on this shit. That's all I'm asking. Like the video, share the shit, man. You know, if you know somebody that was born in 68, share that shit with them, ask them if they know anything about it, man. If you was already around in 1968 and you was of age or whatever the case may be, let me know your thoughts about this shit, man. Because I stumbled onto this on my own. Like I said, I was born in 1977. That's fucking 9 years after 1968. You dig? And I stumbled upon this shit. I had no fucking clue. Check this shit out, man. Pay close attention to this.
Plan the news for 1973. What are you doing?
I just want to make sure the sunlight's real.
I always tell people, news is the most highly developed form of fiction. The most difficult. Come on. I just want to show you something. There's no obligation to buy. Really. News requires imagination. News requires responsibility. We think you're well qualified. Please.
Double A security, sprinkler systems and other services do not operate beyond this point.
Now, I want you guys to pay close attention to what he's about to show this guy, right? He just took him through some secret fucking hidden room, fucking basement bullshit elevator down to this place where these motherfuckers are rigging up all of this bullshit. Pays this shit some attention, man.
1973. We've only roughed out the news for 1973. Nothing's been given the go-ahead yet, but this is the kind of thing we have in mind.
Now, also remember, I used to tell y'all this back on my original channel, right? Within the Masonic order, right? The so-called elites, right? And I hate saying that shit because it's all bullshit, right? But I know when I say elites, y'all understand. Within the Masonic order, man, with these fucking so-called elites, they got this fucking thing, right? And it's complete bullshit, but this is their thing, allegedly, where as long as they tell you or show you what they're going to do, if you sit back and do nothing, then whatever happens, they can walk away with clean hands. Now, this is some bullshit within the Masonic order. They believe that. They actually believe that idiotic ass shit. It's complete bullshit. Don't misunderstand me. But they believe in that shit. That as long as we tell you, well, hey man, we told you, you sat back and you didn't do shit about it. How the fuck is that on us? That's how they look at that shit. And this is a prime example of it. They telling you motherfuckers back in 1960 something what the fuck these niggas is doing. Look at this shit, man.
Today, April 14th, 1973. First historic pictures by Radstar of the combined U.S.-Russian landing on the moon. Shown here are Majors Webb and Mikhailovich taking their first steps into the unknown, firing their retro rockets to land their spacecraft on the dust-covered surface. A comforting note for us stay-at-homes, both the Pentagon and the Kremlin have announced that the moon has no strategic value.
A comforting note for us stay-at-home.
Now, mind you, that fucking little shit that he holding in his hand, that's what they saying is supposed to land it on the moon with the Russians. That's what, man, anyway.
I show you any...
Now, mind you, we already know outer space is fake. We already know that whole round spinning beach ball bullshit is just that. It's bullshit. But they telling you it's bullshit back in the late 60s. It's bullshit.
film on this next model. We haven't photographed it yet. But this is the way it will sound.
June the 22nd, 1973. The State Department releases film of the ultimate weapon, codenamed Icarus. This satellite is equipped with a solid reactor. In layman's terms, it can freeze air solid, stopping all missiles, killing all forms of life. Icarus orbits at the same speed as the Earth, can hang in position over every major city that threatens the peace-loving nations.
Rather proud of this one. Come on. Please, sit down, Mr. Larkin.
September the 5th, 1973. A new phase in global warfare. War by example. At 4:32 our time, China took out the remote Indian border village of Bangalore, unprotected by the Icarus network. After the first 2 5-megaton H-bombs had fallen, the 9-way hotline finally... Switch it off. But
this is going to happen in 1973. You're going to make this happen?
No. We are going to make models, much cheaper. Then we photograph the models.
Fake newsreels?
Fake newsreels. For the past 10 years, people have been looking at our fake newsreels. And...
Damn, did you hear that? He said for the past 10 years, that's all these motherfuckers have been looking at. Look, man, how many times do people like myself, and there are many others, man, there are many others that have been telling you, turn the fucking TV off, man. It's gotten to the point now to where, right, here's the thing. Because people don't want to wake up like how they should at the point when they should, by the time they do wake up, they already done moved on to something else. My point to that is this. A lot of people are waking up to the whole TV thing and the news being fake and this, that, and the other. Now what's the newest and latest thing that's taking over the TV? The fucking social media, man. This is the reason why now you can download just about anything on the internet that you want to download. That copyright infringement shit don't seem to matter. They let you download any fucking thing. They put the goddamn movies that come out at the show on the goddamn, while the shit playing on the show for the first time in the movie screen, you can watch it on the internet at the same fucking time. And people have not made the connection to the fact that they're doing that because that's the direction they steering everybody in. He say these motherfuckers been watching fake news reels for 10 years now. Wow, this shit...
Listening to our fake commentary.
And they accept it for the truth. And you can do it. Stop 100 people in the street. How many of them have actually seen a missile or a satellite? They're just told they exist and they believe it.
Yes, you're getting there. I knew you would.
Well, now the moon rocket...
That's what they told you Thor Hammer was in the first motherfucking Thor movie they did. Remember that? When Anthony Hopkins threw his motherfucking hammer down to earth and shit, and they was sitting in the motherfucking diner and that nigga in there eating all them pancakes and Pop-Tarts and all that other bullshit, and them niggas came in there and said that it was a motherfucking satellite crash. But yet, like my man just said, you stop 100 people on the fucking street and a motherfucker ain't never seen a rocket launch, they ain't never seen a satellite, nothing, ever, but they believe this bullshit. Ooh.
And the satellite, that you can get away with. That's too remote.
Oh, and again, the name of this show is called The Newsbenders. Straight up.
For people to grasp, it's too far away, but this... I mean, you invented this village on the Indo-Chinese border.
Oh, yes.
Well, somebody could check up.
Very mountainous territory up there. There'll be no survivors in 1973. No rescue work. Radiation scare.
can do it. This could be the news for 19...
Can anybody say 9/11? Don't fucking tell me nothing, man. I don't want to hear it. Until you can completely dismiss this shit from 9/11, you know, the Twin Towers and all of that. Until you can completely prove to me that no, this ain't got nothing to do. Yes, the fuck it does. Remember Shanksville, Pennsylvania? Remember Shanksville? What was that, Flight 93 or whatever the fuck it was? Remember that? Remember that shit? You ain't find no parts of a plane. Don't fucking tell me nothing. I don't want to hear it.
1973?
Not necessarily exactly like this. We only plan in detail 1 year ahead.
Oh, you only plan 1 year ahead.
Hey.
And that might have been true back then, but the motherfuckers today are so goddamn stupid. I guarantee you they could triple that number easily today. I guarantee they planning fucking 2.5 to 3.5 years in advance now. Because that's how fucking dumb the people are.
Hey, tell me, what is the news item that's bothered you the most in the past year, 1967?
Well, it has to be the new American intercontinental ballistic missile, the Boy Wonder, doesn't it?
Just the one I asked him to set up for you. The new ICBM, codename Boy Wonder. With a much talked about Mercury warhead.
Do you see that shit? You know what? Don't laugh. Don't laugh, Lone Wolf. This shit ain't funny. It's actually fucked up. But that's the motherfucking supersonic ballistic missile. This supposed to have been the missile they was talking about back then that could go around the entire motherfucking Earth. Didn't they say China just released some bullshit like that not too long ago? Didn't they say that? Now, if I'm not mistaken, as this continues, the show continues, he's going to tell you how they got other countries on board with this shit. Look at this shit, the fucking Boy Wonder. This is the fucking missile that they supposed to went around the world with ballistic speed or whatever the fuck. Look at this fucking shit. It's nothing more than a toy you give a 5-year-old. Look at this shit.
Warhead. I haven't any special effects up here, but perhaps...
And look at the nuclear warhead that's on it. Seriously? That's a nuclear warhead? Get the fuck out of here.
With the proper sound. Blast off. And Robert Larkin. Television director, high IQ, 35 years old, is scared. Scared by nothing. It doesn't work. It's a scientific impossibility. The same goes for the much talked about Mercury warhead. Perspex.
Wow.
Well, if this rocket doesn't work, then the others...
They have a fireworks party at Cape Kennedy almost every other day. Well... You didn't really believe there were all these things whizzing up.
Now, did you hear what he just said? They have a fireworks thing at Cape Kennedy almost every other day. Check this shit out. When the fucking war in Ukraine or wherever the fuck that was, when it first just started, they showed you the so-called initial invasion, and then you had motherfuckers come back on BitChute making their own video showing you of some town's fair that they were having, and it was the exact same fucking fireworks show that they tried to pull off on mainstream media, saying that this fucking country is being invaded. What place? It wasn't Ukraine. It was some fucking where else that they were supposed to have been just invading, or some little scrimmage that they were supposed to have been having. But the bottom line is the footage they showed you on mainstream media of what you thought was a goddamn attack, a military attack, was nothing more than a fireworks show that they recorded from in a fucking, you know how they do, they have little, you know, you go to little different towns and villages, they have their little picnics and little, you know, little things where everybody in the town get together and they gather and they have fireworks and this, that, and the other. It was a video recording of that. And they showed you this shit on mainstream media. Look, it's an invasion. Oh my God, look what they're doing. They're blowing up all of the schools. They're blowing up the hospitals. And it was nothing more than a fireworks display. Don't fucking tell me nothing. I don't want to hear it.
About up there, did you? Sputniks and rockets? Astronauts crossing their legs for 8 days.
How long has this been going on?
Since Hiroshima.
And the H-bomb, that doesn't work either?
Right. Dirty.
Very, very dirty.
What was your first reaction? Relief. Oh, yes.
My man said the hydrogen bomb is fake. That's what the H-bomb is. The H-bomb is a hydrogen bomb. Anyway.
Yes, it has to be relief. Only 12 people are allowed beyond this point. Most of them work in the photographic department, taking phony newsreel pictures of our models and processing film and so on. Sit down, please. Ah, pretty pictures from our stills department. The boy wonder.
Do you really think that missiles and satellites are Myliner country?
No, not at all.
How many times have I told you all? How many times have I told y'all that brute force will never be as strong as deception? How many times? How many fucking times have I told you this? They playing y'all, man. They playing y'all on a psychological and an emotional level to the point to where you go out and conduct your everyday life built around a model. Some sort of bullshit fake model scale that they hype up to be fucking real. My dude, Mag Bit of Truth, he talk about this shit all the fucking time. The first time I seen this, like I said, I ran into this video about a year ago. Close to a year, maybe. The first person I thought about was Mag Bit of Truth. He was the first person I thought about. I was like, man, dude been saying this shit for the longest. How many times, for anybody who watch Mag Bit of Truth channel, how many times he been screaming green screens and CGI and Photoshop and shit in his videos? How many videos has he put out? Where, you know, when they give you some current event bullshit that just happened on mainstream media and all that, how many times this motherfucker done went around telling you that these shootings and shit that they be showing you and talking about be fake? How many times have I told y'all, man, I went to Minneapolis, Minnesota right after the fucking George Floyd thing was supposed to happen. Right after they tore up Minneapolis, I went up there. My homie, who is from Chicago, got a cousin who worked in the St. Paul County Jail. He from Chicago as well. The guy is a CO in the St. Paul County Jail. My homie had told me before I drove up there, he said, yeah, man, my cousin already told me that all the black people that work on the deck that this nigga was supposed to have been on, the cop that's supposed to kill George Floyd, they said all the fucking black COs that worked on that deck that they put him on could no longer work there. I told y'all that his cousin told him that they took all the inmates that was on that deck. They took them all off. Wasn't nobody on that deck but him, the so-called cop that was supposed to kill George Floyd. I told y'all from day one that shit was fake. Just like the Eric Garner shit was fake. The little bitty cop that was supposed to choke out the fat dude that was selling the loose cigarettes in fucking New York. I told y'all that was fake. I told y'all the George Floyd situation was fake. I told y'all that. I told you, man. How many times did I tell y'all, man? There's nowhere in hell you can put your motherfucking hands around a person's neck, wrap a telephone cord around his throat, or put a fucking rope around his neck and start choking this motherfucker as much as you can, and they still got the nerve to be able to say, I can't breathe, as if nobody's choking them at all. That shit is not real. It's nowhere in hell you gonna take your big ass mitts and wrap them around a woman's throat and be choking the shit out of this broad, and she's just, I can't breathe. Baby, honey, sweetie, I can't breathe. And she's saying that while you choking her as hard as you fucking can. There's no motherfucking way in hell she's gonna be able to talk like that. Nobody can. It's all fucking fake. I told my homie, like, man, your motherfucker cousin lost his mind. He like, nah, man, I swear to God, my cousin told me this. He like, man, niggas done quit the job. Some niggas filing lawsuits the whole 9 yards. I'm like, for real? The nigga tell me to bring him a pizza from Italian Fiesta, right? Anybody know about Chicago? Anybody that's from the hood know that Italian Fiesta got 3 locations. They all on the south side. They got one on 83rd and Halsted. They got one over there on 47th and Lake Park. And the main one, their headquarters is on 71st and Jeffrey. Those are the only fucking pizzerias that Italian Fiesta own. He say, man, bring me a motherfucking pizza when you come up here. I went over and got this nigga a large ground beef with fucking mushrooms on it and drove all the way to Minnesota with that pizza on the backseat of my motherfucking car and didn't touch one slice because of them goddamn mushrooms. Okay, I get up there, I get a man his food. He called his cousin. Like I told you, this cousin that's supposed to be the CO in St. Paul County Jail, that nigga from Chicago too. He called him and told him I was there and that I brought the pizza. He was on the fucking FaceTime shit. You know how you can see each other when y'all talking or whatever? That's how they was talking. I heard his cousin say the shit out his own mouth. I'm sitting here looking at this nigga with a correctional officer uniform on. I'm looking at him. He said it again. He said any melanated motherfucker that was working over here on this deck that they supposed to have him on, no matter what shift they was working, they are no longer allowed to work on this deck. He said out his own mouth that every inmate that was in every cell that was on that deck prior to them bringing that cop that was supposed to kill George Floyd there, they removed all of them. Now, I heard his cousin say this. I'm looking at this nigga. He said it out his own motherfucking mouth. I told my homie, because my man's name is Rico. I looked at Rico. I say, Rico, you know what that mean? He like, nah, what? I say, that mean can't nobody prove that motherfucker is in there. And I bet you $1 to a dough he wasn't. Continue.
I've only shown you the hard news. There are other things, much softer things we thought might interest you.
Well?
1973, we thought it might be time for an anti-teenage movement. A long-awaited return to maturity. Sheriff. Perhaps even a religious revival.
Oh, I see. You want me to arrange the grand opening of Ruislip Cathedral? 1st of October, 1973. Mark the date down in my 10-year diary.
We are very serious about you. There are things about you we like very much. Qualities you have to offer. Qualities that we perhaps don't possess at the moment.
That's great.
Our file on you. I have to return to July the 25th, 1966, the day you broke it off with this girl, Sheila. You really did reveal rather a lot of yourself that day. But of course, if you really mind...
Help yourself.
You said to her, it won't work, Sheila, and she said something, and then you said...
You remember I went away with Rachel and the kids to the seaside? It was midweek and this huge stretch of sand was empty. Just a circle of footprints around 3 sand castles and tracks out to sea. The whole damn day of my family marked out in front of me. The sun was going down. Rachel kept calling the kids to get dressed. She picked up buckets and spades, corny bloody things like that. I was up at the car. I looked at those footprints and I knew those people were slipping away. There were things I could tell them.
We rather like that bit about footprints. You see, in this job, some of us have got rather a long way away from the idea of footprints in the sand.
Those footprints were made by my children. Now you want me to scare the hell out of them with every bomb from A to H inclusive. Well, why? I mean...
Can somebody say COVID-19, anyone? Don't fucking tell me nothing, man. I don't want to hear it. I don't want to hear it. Not when they had this shit going on back in 1968. You know what I'm saying? And shout out to the brother James Branch, because he's one of those people that really got me thinking about the shit that was actually going on back during these times. Because when I ran into this, I sat back and I thought about it. I was like, how the fuck did they miss this? How the fuck? You know what I'm saying? Like, what the fuck? And then I thought about it. Oh, 1968. Ain't that when they killed Kennedy or King? No, Kennedy got killed in 65 or 66, some shit like that. Ain't 1968 when they started killing all the rest of them other niggas like Medgar Evers and the so-called assassination of Martin Luther King and then Malcolm and all that other shit? Wasn't all that shit going on back then? Then they passed some of, 1968, the first year they passed some of the most illogical and astronomical fucking gun laws, no sooner than they signed the Indian Civil Rights Act of April 11th, 1968. Continue.
When did it all start?
1945. You may remember the Americans let off their 2 atomic bombs. Well, they didn't want other people doing the same thing. I mean, you do see that, don't you?
Oh, I don't know.
Well, to scare the people off, the Americans put it out, and the atomic bomb was halfway along the line to something much bigger, the hydrogen bomb. It didn't work. They spent 5 years in negative research.
Well, what about the Russians? They're supposed to have quite a pile of these things.
We were surprised when they started their tests. Then we got a few feelers from their Secret Service. Nowadays, we work very closely together.
Did you hear what he just said? Did you hear what he just said? Why y'all motherfuckers really thinking that Putin and Donald Trump really hated each other? Boo-hoo. Get your goofy ass out of here because you don't know a motherfucking thing.
Police stories about spies going off to Russia. Mr. Philby, remember? Just good copy for the Sunday papers.
Good copy.
Wow.
Well, the Chinese. I mean, they've just announced their bomb.
Yeah, we played along with it. We recorded their phony explosion. We're rather hoping the Chinese...
Wait a minute. Wait. I could have sworn that China was our enemy. How many times I done told y'all on my old channel, man? Like I told y'all the other day when I made the video, I could tell y'all 10,000 reasons for why they take down my motherfucking channel when they fuck with me the way that they do. How many motherfucking videos did I show y'all on my original channel where they all throwing up the same gang signs? They all throwing up the pyramid. They all throwing up the Baphomet. They all making the one-eyed symbol. They all got the goofy ass fucking Masonic handshake. How many motherfucking times did I tell y'all they was all in on it together? And just for kicks and giggles, let's do this real quick. Let's do this real quick. Let's go just real quick. We're going to come back to that because I really want you guys to finish hearing the rest of it. Let's do this real quick. I like fucking people heads up. Let's go to Google real quick and type in president. Oh shit, I can't even spell president. God damn. President Zelensky. Let's see if it's still up. They pussy ass probably took it down. Oh, no, they didn't. Here it is right here. It's a Volodymyr whatever, Zelensky, also translated as Zelensky or Zelensky, is a Ukrainian politician and former comedic actor. Hello! I'm sick of y'all stupid shit. I'm sick of you stupid motherfuckers. You can't do a simple Google search. Your motherfuckers is all emotional and into your feelings. But what can I do? I'm just one person. Shut your punk ass up. The man is a goddamn actor. They all are. Wasn't motherfucking Ronald Reagan an actor before he became governor of California, before he became president of the United States Corporation? Wasn't he a motherfucking actor? Wasn't Jesse Ventura a goddamn actor? This nigga in the first Predator talking about chewing tobacco and it shit'll make you a sexual tyrannosaurus just like him. Fuck you talking about? This was before he became Governor Ventura. Ain't Donald Trump a fucking actor? Wasn't that man an actor before he became president? They're all fucking actors. Don't fucking tell me nothing. Just shut the fuck up. Keep your mouth closed.
The Chinese will come along, complete the pattern, you know.
That nigga just said, yeah, man, the Chinese in on it, man. Don't even trip. That nigga said, yeah, man, we helped him. We helped him photograph that shit. Don't even worry about it, man. It's all good. Don't even trip. Oh, my God.
Vietnam. Hundreds of people are being killed every week. Well, you can't do that with your models.
No. And you can't kill people of bad habits in 2 generations. They like to carry rifles. They like to put lines on maps. And we let them because we control the situation. There's no danger of world war. Just a simple choice for everybody. Capitalism or communism.
He said we control the situation. There is no real danger of world war. So when you hear these motherfuckers talking, oh my God, they got their hands on the button and somebody gave them the nuclear codes and oh God, it's all fucking bullshit. It's all bullshit, man. You hearing the bullshit about the cyber attacks and shit, right? I just downloaded, man. And you know what? You know what I'm going to do, man? I'm going to do this for the people who really want me to do this, the people who was telling me to keep dropping videos about breaking down movies and shit. I'm going to do it. And if they fuck my channel over again, they just fuck it over. Who cares? I just downloaded the last Die Hard movie that Bruce Willis made. The one with the nigga Justin Long, the nigga who was in the first Jeepers Creepers movie and shit. That whole movie is about a cyber attack where they fucking shut down practically the entire eastern seaboard. Now, y'all remember a few years ago, they claimed it was an EMP where a great deal of the East Coast was without fucking power, right? But here's the part that they never let you in on. They're the ones that's fucking responsible for it. The man just told you there's no real threat of nuclear war. We control the situation. How many times have you heard these motherfuckers tell you that motherfuckers like the Rothschilds and the Rockefellers and all these other fucking weirdos, they fund both sides of the goddamn conflict?
Strawberry or vanilla. It all adds up to the same thing now we've got rid of the big bangers.
Well, how can you be sure that Johnson, Kosygin aren't working on other things? Poison gases, bacteria.
Oh yeah, need I say fair use. This is for educational purposes. Fair use.
Man of your intelligence. You don't want to destroy the world, neither do I. What makes you think the presidents are different?
Well, they've made some pretty good stabs at it in the past.
There wasn't the right sort of control then. Nowadays we know better. Politicians are easy to control. The grosser mentality boys who like to be photographed getting in and out of Daimlers in Whitehall. They come right at the bottom of our organization.
Damn.
A few rungs up the ladder, there are the people...
Did you hear that shit? He say them motherfuckers are nothing to us. Talking about politicians. Mag been the truth been telling you for the longest, a politician ain't nothing but a goddamn puppet. I can tell you for a fact, man, the man they done practically drove him off of YouTube. They done took down, 8, 9, 10 platforms of Mag Bit of Truth before he finally said fuck it and just kind of just strayed away from YouTube altogether. He swear by these motherfucking politicians ain't nothing but puppets. And he right.
People in the top secret factories. Just those in a position to know they're making weapons that don't really work.
Wow.
There must come a time when somebody wants to use one of those weapons. I mean, somebody is standing there with a finger on the button.
Oh, that's
and I'm in the process of dissecting this Godzilla movie they just did. The Godzilla movie with King Kong or whatever. And Jim Redwolf pointed out some shit too in one of his videos when he was talking about that scene when King Kong took that spike he made out of a tree and threw it at the ceiling or that enclosure they had him in. You know what I'm saying? He already made reference to that, but it's deeper than that because y'all remember the scene where Godzilla burnt a big ass hole all the way down from Japan or wherever the fuck he was to where King Kong was when he got that motherfucking tomahawk and shit. And it's like, what's up with the tomahawk? Well, the tomahawk is our shit. What the fuck is King Kong doing with it? You see what I'm saying? I'm in the process of dissecting that movie right now.
That's the beauty of it. Nobody presses the button. We control all the crises. We build them up and we shut them down.
It's called subversion. It's called subversion, man. Look it up. This is your crisis actors, man. This is the shit that pissed me off. Like I said before, haven't y'all noticed it seems like everybody just ignore every motherfucking thing that's going on around them? This is the crisis actors that he's talking about. This is your Boston bombing and shit, where they was using people who had already been amputees and shit, and they was using them to say, oh yeah, look what happened, he just blew his nuts off and this, that, and the other, and woo, 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 woo. Crisis actors is a real thing. I'm not finna Google it because all you got to do is, they actually got a term for crisis actors. All you got to do is Google it.
Again.
Yeah, I'm coming to that. Near the top of the hierarchy, there are the economists, top civil servants, top brass in the military. Those men who are supposed to view the nuclear tests and so on. And above them, CWNS.
Right at the top. Classified World News Service. Just who the hell are you?
It's obvious, isn't it? Just a very few of the top people in communications. In every...
Only the few are controlling this shit, right? Research the way the Masonic order goes as you go further up the paradigm within their bullshit. It's a circle within the circle, and within each circle, that circle gets smaller. That circle represents the amount of people. So if it's a circle within a circle and every circle gets smaller, that means there's least amount of people at the top that are actually running the fucking show. This is the reason for why you run into a lot of so-called Freemasons, whether they be Prince Hall or whatever, that'll deny the shit about the Masonic order. And it be because a lot of them are fucking dumb and they just don't know. They have not reached that plateau yet. Now, some of them know and they just fucking lying. But this is what he's talking about. The motherfuckers that are way at the top is only a couple of them.
Every major country in the world.
Oh, you mean you run all these magazines?
No, of course not. We just get them to take some of our coffee every week. Television is much more important to us. All happens so quickly.
You say you can put out what pictures you like on television. Doesn't anybody try to stop you?
No, nobody wants to. 99.386% of the population wouldn't believe this conversation. And the rest are working for us.
Damn.
And they're the top minds.
Did you hear that? And that shit is so true.
Really responsible people. They know they're guaranteeing the lives of their grandchildren the only foolproof way.
Scaring the hell out of their grandchildren. Well, I won't buy it.
You must admit there has to be some kind of control in this world of ours. Look at this. And remember that 1/4 of the world is starving. There are the full bellies and the empty bellies. Some of the empty bellies carry rifles. Well, we full bellies are getting a bit flabby. We're not very good with rifles anymore, so we've devised 2 ways to keep the empty bellies under control. One of them is this fictitious hydrogen bomb we've talked about. The other one is money. Enough money to fill some of the empty bellies and put a hopeful smile on the faces of the others. A great wall of money all around.
That's that rags to riches story that they sell our people about these niggas making it out of the hood, man. Every motherfucker. Look here, let me tell y'all something. Use Kanye West as an example of that. Kanye West was not no motherfucking gangster. The story that y'all heard Jay-Z tell y'all about Kanye West and how he said he didn't want that nigga and for him to stick to just making beats is true. It's fucking true. We used to terrorize Kanye West in school. He ain't no gangster. He ain't no motherfucking G. He ain't. And he wasn't broke either. Right? His mama wasn't broke. Like I told you, she was a goddamn professor at Chicago State University. She sat on the fucking PTA at a goddamn school. We know Donda. We know her, man. That's how come when he set up and told you that if he had never went to Los Angeles, his mother would still be alive. It's true. Wake the fuck up, man.
Around Britain. And it's no secret that the British economy is in trouble at the moment. So we have to put that right too. To stay alive, we have to control the people in this country. Scare an ostrich, buries its head in the sand. You scare a hedgehog, it rolls itself up into a ball. When a woman's frightened, she goes out and buys herself a hat.
You mean you scare us so that we'll buy more, so that money moves quicker, production moves up?
We don't say scare when we talk about human beings. We say threaten them emotionally. And there are all sorts of ways of not just the big ones like the hydrogen bomb. Overcrowd them a little with bad planning. Sell them too many motor cars. Anything to keep them a little bit removed from reality. Now,
This is the thing about how they want to take the guns away from people who actually went and got guns and they're not fucked up people. And they never answer to the fact that the criminals don't abide by no gun laws and this, that, and the other. It's to keep you at fear. It keeps you at fear, it keeps you at bay, and it keeps you in control. Oh, I'm sorry, under their control. Excuse me.
Nowadays, people don't work for money. They work for the idea of money.
Yep.
They don't even love for love. They love for the idea of love.
Yep. To say I'm in a fucking relationship, to say I've been married. Wow, man.
They only hate for the idea of hate. It took us 5 years to find a non-addictive drug. One we could pay off against the hard drugs. LSD.
You marketed that?
Oh, yes, of course. And for a very good reason. Some of these protest movements were getting a little bit too close to the mark. LSD gave them nice little hallucinations. Made them talk like 3-year-olds. Throw flowers at police.
Every time we get close, they do some shit. Look at what was going on in the 70s. Motherfuckers were still pissed off about King. They were still pissed off about motherfucking Medgar Evers and Malcolm. You know, they fucked Fred Hampton up here on the west side of Chicago. You dig? Then look at the 80s. They killed Harold Washington. You know what I'm saying? You know, there hadn't been a melanated mayor of Chicago prior to Lori Lightfoot. The only melanated mayor of Chicago was Harold Washington. And this was back in the fucking 80s, man. And they killed him. Straight up. They said he died of a heart attack, but they killed him, man. Wow, man. What more do I need to do and say? And besides, the fucking video probably won't stay up very long anyway.
Policemen. Shall we talk terms?
You're not still going to ask me to work for you?
I'm afraid I've had to put all this rather bluntly. You see, there wasn't really very much time. It must be rather a shock. Well, I mean, most people realize that the world is controlled from about 6 big cities. But it must be rather shocking to learn that a sixth of the world is controlled from this building.
You mean you?
Oh, no. I only rate an office on the 7th floor. There are 2 other offices above this one. And a giant computer system. Link number 4 in world control.
A computer?
Well, what's so remarkable about that? It's just a machine that can store a vast amount of information.
A machine that knows too bloody much.
Now you're being hysterical about it. Computer's very simple. You feed data into it. Anything from the Wall Street closing prices to the North Atlantic weather.
And you get decisions. That machine's taken you over.
It's just a machine. Extra hands for the people who know how to control it.
Well, this one above us, it's square in a box.
Yeah, I suppose you could call it square in a sort of a box.
Do you know why I go away at weekends? To get away from people in boxes. They live in boxes. They get their thoughts, their problems, and their answers out of boxes. And I like to...
That's why I don't like high-rise buildings. I don't like apartment complexes like the one I'm staying in now. I don't like that shit. For the very same shit that he's talking about right now. I can't stand that shit.
Get away at weekends because they're not people anymore. You know all about me. My cottage in Hampshire. But did you know that there's a line of trees that goes right up past the house? And the noise they make is like the sea. Did you know that I find it difficult to sleep in the country? And I like to go and stand in the garden before dawn. And I feel good because I know that my wife and my children are asleep inside. And I like to go out and walk past the wet hedgerows until I can see pasture land and the smoke from the cottages in the
This
village.
may be all very well for one of your grassroots programs, but I'm afraid time is running out. I ought to tell you, we pay a great deal of money. We can afford to. We save such a lot on things like the national defense budget and so on. We would start you off at £250,000 a year.
Oh.
Rising to £1 million when you make the Ministry of Morality, which I know you will.
Will you let me out of here?
One little point. I should have told you about these Surgical transmitters. There's enough of this stuff inside you at this moment to kill 6 people. There's a button we can press. I'm sorry about the dramatics. Our boys call these things the oral contraceptive. Keeps them from talking too much.
So there must be one of those transmitters inside you. Who presses the button? Extra hands. All this stuff about the computer being extra hands for the men who know how to control it. That machine controls you.
You start on Monday.
Early controversial classics from Dennis Potter next weekend with the first of the Nigel Barton plays on.
That is some heavy shit, man. I'm gonna leave it right there. I mean, what more do I need to fucking say behind this? You know what I'm saying? You already got Google telling you that Zelensky is a fucking actor. This is the goddamn guy that's supposed to be the president of Ukraine. So that means Putin is an actor, Biden, the fucking chump in Japan, China, they all fucking puppets. It's the original Longwood, man. What more do you want me to say? What more do you want me to say, man? Who the fuck gonna come over here in my comment section and challenge this shit that I just said, that I just showed? Who gonna do it? I'd like to know. What information can you challenge me with that I can go and research for myself to where you can turn me in a different direction from what I'm seeing that's going on in the current world today, not being how it is, and the shit that they've been on since back, shit. If they was saying this was back in 1968, you know fucking well they was doing in 1938. This the original Lone Wolf, man. Much love to y'all.